Good morning, everybody. Do you recognize me? I found the ears that I wanted to have last week. And see, I had to, it's called, it's called ear floss. It's cleaning out your ears so that you can hear better. But it doesn't, you can't really do that. It goes up, see this part? The string goes from here up around my head and comes out this side. So you're not pulling it through your head. All right, I don't want anybody to think that. And I didn't want you to think when I said I can't hear that I was missing an ear. I got both my ears. I just can only hear out of the one. So I wanted to tell you more about the ears because I forgot a few things that are really super important. Do you know what the first sound you hear when you are forming in your mommy's tummy? That's how God designed us. And the main thing is because it forms a huge bond between your mom and you when your mom knowing that you're forming inside her body. And it forms a huge bond between your mom and dad because your dad is saying, my child is being formed inside this wonderful woman, my wife. She's going to be the mother of my children. God designed things for relationships and that we can stay together and work because the first sound a baby hears is the mother's heartbeat. Isn't that amazing? So all while you were developing in your mommy's tummy, you probably don't remember that at all. But your ears were hearing boom, 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 boom. And it was so calming. And that's how God designed it. So your mom could calm you even when you weren't outside yet. You were still inside being formed and everything. So I'd like to picture God thinking, how do I want this to happen? Because he created everything. He had to think about it. It wasn't just kaplop. Oh, okay, that's good. Kaplop. No, he thought about how he was going to create the world because he wanted it perfect for us. And you know what? He said to himself, the heartbeat, it's the most important part. Everyone's heart is so important. And it needs nurturing, it needs protecting, and it needs to be cared for. And it needs to be part of every thought and every action, whether it's a speaking action or something else that we do. We have to go to our heart. It's something else. And it's impossible to shine bright without your heart being involved. All right. So I thought, what could be more comforting than hearing your mother's heart? Sometimes when you're hurt and everything, you come running to your mom. Where do you put your head? Right near her heart. And I bet you you probably don't know this because sometimes things happen without us thinking. Your brain is, and your ears are hearing your mom's heart, even though you might not be registering it. Because that's where God wants you to go too. When we go with our thoughts to our heart, when we go with our pain to our moms or our dads, we hug them and we can feel their heart and we can hear their hearts. It's just amazing to me. Oh, and you know what? While you're being formed and stuff inside your mom, they go to a doctor and they put a little machine on her tummy and they can see. You might even have seen the pictures of the first sonogram. So they can see your tiny little heart beating. And then when they put a stethoscope on your mommy's tummy and they can hear, your mom and dad hear for the first time your heart beating, they want to explode. They're just so full of joy and happiness and excitement. And God does that all through our ears, hearing the heartbeat. It's just, to me, amazing. So I want you to remember that. The most important thing for you to hear is someone's heart beating. And this is kind of weird to think about, but you can hear it by looking at a person. Just make that what you see and hear when you see a person and are communicating with a person, or a person is communicating with you. If we all did this, what a wonderful world it would be. But if we at least don't do it, because if everybody in Sunday school did it, everybody in church, everybody in every church and Sunday school around the world, that would be a lot of people. So there'd be a lot of shining bright. All right, and that's what God wants for us. Because if a person isn't listened to, and you know how you feel when you're trying to get your mom's attention. Mom, why won't she listen to me? People don't feel like they feel separate. They feel like it's just them. And they feel a little more, it's called defensive. They want to fight. They want to make sure that they're heard. But if we listen to the other person with our hearts, there's a connection. They feel like they're a part of something. And it's just, when people aren't seen or heard, or feel that they're not being seen or heard, that's when people get upset and angry, and they get loud because they're not being listened to. It's just so upsetting. We don't shine bright when we're not listened to, and others don't shine bright when they're not listened to. God created our ears. He designed them, and He knows how they work. So guess what we do? God is the expert on our ears. God is the expert on our hearts. God is the expert, period. So when there's a problem, like when your mom and dad say the refrigerator breaks down, they call the refrigerator repairman, right? Because he's the expert. Same with computers. If they break down, you go to the expert. So why don't we always remember to go to the expert? We have to remember that. He created everything in this world. He created us. He created every part of us. And we have to remember when things aren't quite right, or even when things are good. You know, when the refrigerator repairman fixes the refrigerator, your mom goes, thanks. Oh man. And every once in a while when she opens the refrigerator after he's left, she thinks, thank heaven he fixed this. Well, that's what we do too. When we go to Him, we say, thank you so much. We also ask Him to help us. So He is, remember, created the ears. He created the idea of listening to each other through our hearts. So isn't He the expert at doing that too? So He can help us learn how to hear, how to listen better to shine bright. Go to the expert. All right. So let's see, what did I miss? Anything here? Oh yeah, remember last week we talked about the ears, but I talked about your tongue and speaking. You really can't listen well if you're speaking, right? Well, you really can't listen well if your heart isn't involved. Our hearts, and we have to be thinking about the other person's heart. And hopefully the other person is thinking about our heart. But that's not always the way. So we have to go to God. Our parents can help us protect our hearts. Remember, we have our seek and find places, right? Our home family. Remember, go to your home family. Go to your church family. Go to the Bible. Let's see, we have prayer and singing. All that involves your heart, all right? And teaching your heart things. So we can be loving, kind, caring, patient, and gentle. And you see my green finger? That's for our craft. I got a quickie little craft for us to do. So we want the victory, right? We want victory in life. It involves listening through our hearts, listening with our brains, thinking, and bring it to God, all right? It's really simple if we just remember to do it all the time. So here we go. That's the hard part. Remembering. So that's why I'm doing these videos to help you remember. Now, last week we did the listening game. Remember and I had these ears. Let's see, let me get them right. Had these ears. So on this one, we wrote about what we heard playing the listening game. And every time you play it, try it. I have a new listening game. All right, so you could do both of them. So this listening game, I want you to talk really quiet and see if the other person hears you. Could you hear me? I don't know. So what I want you to do, play with somebody else and say something really quietly. So they have to lean in and really listen. And it may be a joke. It may be saying something nice. I love how you look today. Or thank you for something. Anything you could think of to say, but say it in a whisper and make them lean in. And then it'll be their turn. They have to whisper something, but away from you, not in your ear. All right, and then you have to listen carefully. Sometimes, right? Do that. So, and then write it down, how you were able to do that. All right, so that's another little game to do for listening, to help your listening, to make you realize you have to focus a little bit more on that person. All right, and now the craft. Doesn't look like much, but I'll show you how to do it. All right, so this is going to be hard, but I'll hold it up. So I have a blank piece of paper, any size, doesn't matter. I have one of those highlighter pens, and I'm left-handed, so I'm going to color one of my fingers on my right hand. I'm going to color it, and then I'm going to take it, and I'm going to press it on that piece of paper, and see how it's like doing my own fingerprints. So you're going to do 6 of them. I'm going to go really quick. 1, 2, color it in a circle, and then right away press it down. Okay. Oh, that was a good one. So I'm not taking my time, but you'll take your time and get it a little nicer. 6. All right. So I did those really quick with that, doing it on my finger. But you could do it a little neater. All right. And then what we're going to do, I wasn't thinking how hard this is going to be, but here. All right. So we're going to take the very first one, and I'm going to put squiggles up at the top to be a brain. And then I'm going to practice making a heart shape. I'll do it and then I'll show you. All right, so we're gonna squiggle in the brain, because we have to have our brain. We're gonna just put ears on either side of that fingerprint, and then a heart underneath. Okay, so our brains and our heart are what we need to be good listeners, and then we need our brain and our heart to make the victory to God. So if you want to, you can make a mess and do a whole bunch, whatever you want to do with these fingerprints. But save one piece of paper to look like this, because next week we'll do another one. And so when we get to this last one, you will be surprised with what's going to be there. All right, and that's going to go in our I Believe bag when we're all done with it. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. And again, this is what you want to end up with. 6 fingerprints and just one that I put a brain, a heart, and ears on. All right, it's going to be like our head. All right, so we got a song. Now we talked about, maybe I forgot this part. We talked about our parents and our grandparents and our brothers and sisters, how they're our home family. We want to go to them when we're having trouble maybe hearing, or trouble that someone's not listening to us to. And they can help us know, what they think we should do, but then we have to go to God with it. All right? So this song is one we've done where 2 or 3, because we don't have to do anything alone, all by ourselves. Never feel alone. Always you can go to God, or you can go to your, church family or your home family so you never feel alone, all right? And if something's making you feel bad. So here we go. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, together in my name, there I am, and I'm listening. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am, there I am in the midst of them. And remember, he's with us to comfort, to protect, and to care for us, and to teach us how to be loving, kind, shining bright people. So we want him in the midst of us. All right? Love you. With my green finger. It could be any color too, if you, whatever color you have, pink, blue, yellow. I just thought the green showed up better on the camera. So I love you. Have a great week. Bye.